Stuart Davis from Crowdstrike here. We wanted to post a short recording here, an introduction to our session because we'll be attending Cyber UK this year.
Zeki, Turedi, I'm the field CTO here at Europe for Crowdstrike. So yeah, great to be here and have a conversation.
As a cybersecurity company, we constantly are working with customers dealing with problems they're having around cyber and the threat landscape. And as a result of that, we continuously publish threat reports. So we felt, seeing as we're going to be joining you guys at Cyber UK, why don't we talk a little bit about the interesting information that we posted out in our recent global threat report. So the 3 points we're going to focus on today, and we'll try and keep this as brief as possible, is around identity and social engineering, adversaries that are continuing to leverage the cloud, and third-party supplier instance, right? In terms of identity and social engineering, Zeki, what have you been hearing from customers in the field?
Every CISO and organization I speak to is pretty much on their top 3 biggest risks to their business if they haven't got a solution or protection or visibility into it. You know, if you look into our global threat report, there's valid reasons to see it. You see, majority of the threat actors that we see and report in the GTR, identity is their number 1 target. I mean, I'm going to have to ask you, Stuart, you're dealing with organizations that have unfortunately found themselves on the other end of an adversary.
Obviously, we've published in the report around Scattered Spider, one of the recent e-crime adversaries, and about their evolving tactics to make themselves unfortunately successful in the e-crime space. So a lot of what they brought to the table was around better capabilities of misusing credentials, API keys, and really bypassing a lot of the tools that we've had in place for identity protection in the past. Also, they brought really a next level game around social engineering. So what do I kind of mean by that? So if you take examples like, in terms of identity, we try and protect using passwords and one-time passwords as well. So this team really kind of stepped up their game with SIM swapping capabilities to kind of bypass multi-factor authentication and various other tactics in terms of how to gain access to credentials or sensitive information from your service desk. And what they did was they really focused on the language, the way they communicated, and getting people to be part of their teams who most likely came from the background of IT administration. So they really had intimate knowledge with how VPNs are set up, and they could explain very clearly to the person on the other end of the phone what they should be looking at. I'm
assuming that the other threat actors in the space are starting to see the benefits of having a key focus on social engineering. Do you think that's going to drastically change this year?
I think so, and really when we talk about credentials, we've got passwords, we've got API keys, secrets, social, session cookies and tokens, right? So really what we're kind of talking about is the evolution to the cloud has meant that these actors have had, they're really presented with a lot of your services online, your email services online, your various file services. And as a result of that, what they're trying to do now is get a better understanding of how they can take advantage of those session tokens, information that they could leverage either for initial access or for persistence. But I think Scattered Spider are paving a way for some of the other groups to really say to themselves, those techniques are working. So let's invest in a little bit more in that ecosystem. And I'm really focused on the e-crime there.
It's quite interesting when you were talking about, multiple different technologies, cloud and so forth. When I speak to organizations, one of the biggest areas that they struggle with is actually getting a good visibility and understanding how their identity infrastructure is interconnected into other applications. If you think about majority of companies in the last few years, they've been onboarding SaaS applications, cloud infrastructure, huge amounts of different third-party tooling, and funnily enough, they're directly connecting it to their core identity services. And that means that the systematic weaknesses in that technology is now opened up to a whole level of third parties.
Yeah, take a look at the global threat report, right? You'll see this incremental increase from 2021 to 2022, 2023, where now we have a 75% increase in cloud conscious cases. So what cloud conscious cases are is an adversary showing tools, tactics that are very conscious that you as an organization have a hybrid cloud environment, or that you've put your resources now in the cloud. Exactly what you said. So while the attacker may have gained access to one SaaS environment, they've actually then, in effect, got access to another third party's data as well. So as the actors are learning on that, then they're taking advantage of it, knowing that customers themselves have poor visibility, it's difficult for them to remediate, and forensics is often lacking. But the question for me and you is, how do we better prepare our customers?
These adversaries have become extremely smart. They've spent the last few years, researching, doing all of their courses, and actually understand the cloud environments better than some organizations who are massively deploying into it right now. And I think it's really important to highlight that the tactics that were used to target organizations with a traditional endpoint or physical servers has massively evolved to, it's the same tactics more or less. Do you think generative AI is going to make it easier for social engineering?
I guess it really is going to come down to, Zeki, we all know that AI needs large sets of data to train on. So that's going to be a factor of, well, what is that data set that I can use? We know that there's a lot of repositories already on the internet that kind of list out code that people reuse all the time. So we know that kind of creating malware isn't really kind of the quickest and the go-to. But absolutely, finishing off emails, making them much more presentable, less errors, those AI elements are a fast resource that can really change certain actors' capabilities, very at the advanced level and at the basic kind of more e-crimey level.
We've seen in the Global Threat Report the breakout time, the time it takes an adversary to target initial patient 0 to then start moving laterally has massively decreased. I think it's 62 minutes now compared to 70 odd minutes last year. But going back onto the conversation AI, I believe we have a great opportunity as defenders to use the technology a lot wiser and a lot better suited way. We have an opportunity to augment our security teams. And this is not something that is far in the distant future. This is actually what organizations are doing today. But we use something like AI, we can sift through vast amounts of information and actually find the relevant data that we need right now. We can use it to automate workflows. Just like the adversary is trying to automate their steps to target an organization, we can use it to build workflows so we don't have to rinse and repeat continuously. My biggest takeaway from the Global Threat Report is, we just can't be out innovated by the adversary. They're looking into these new technologies. We need to be looking into them, a lot quicker, a lot faster than they are.
The advancements now we'll be doing in AI, I think, are fantastic. I look forward to seeing how they ultimately make our customers' lives a little bit easier. But the Global Threat Report is the other side of that coin that we all need to recognize, well, where's the advances of the bad guy? So that leads me to another point, obviously. The CYBERUK event is all about learning. It's about discussing these relevant types of attacks. How does that affect government? How does that affect private organizations, businesses within the UK and others who are traveling abroad? So we're very lucky. We're going to be presenting along with the incident management team at the CYBERUK on stage. So Harry and the team from the NCC are leading a talk. The talk is called "Oh, That Was Clever," when even jaded incident handlers are impressed, and future implications. And that 45 minutes is what's known as a Chili 3 rating. So technical, day 1, 14:45. If you guys can join us for that, we'd be very excited to talk afterwards. Any questions you might have. And my last question, on a very serious note, Zeki.
Yep.
Do you think I'll ever have a fantastic beard like you?
No.